Okay, let's just take a look at the Mercury. We're just going to go through these in steps. So with his Mercury, there's not really bad aspects to the Mercury. The Mercury trines his Mars, sextiles to Jupiter, and conjuncts to Uranus. That's the most outstanding. His Mercury is in Taurus in the 7th house. It's determined, the Taurus is ruled by Venus. It's independent, it's ruled by Venus. I think about what I want. I know what I like. I can see what's valuable. I want to express valuable things or things of personal worth. So I want to, it's in the 7th house. I want to communicate to you or to other people about what I see as valuable as I'm picking up where they are. So as he's responding to other people, seeing who's really together, who's not, and if someone's not together, he could see why and might be able to be helpful and add some suggestions. Or if they were already really together, he would be able to communicate about the qualities. Like it's a very material plotting Mercury by nature. In the 7th house of sharing ideas, the need to communicate, to express his ideas, and his ideas come from reacting to others and his ability to express and need to talk. He needs to communicate. He's not a person to go sit. I mean, we don't have that strong idea. He dealt with intimidating subjects, but he really isn't a person that would brood at home alone. I wouldn't think so. He would have a need to express himself and find people to share ideas and to talk to him. And as people to talk to him, if they had common likes or common values, or they valued what he had to say, it would be in a very affirmative thing. If someone didn't like him, he would be very determinedly consistent in his own and isolated from the others, or pull away from that. So his ability to respond and know what he liked and know how to communicate, know who liked him, who didn't like him, who was encouraging his ideas, who wasn't, that's a very strong factor. It can be a storm because of Taurus, but it's basically stubborn and determined in the 7th house of relating to others. And the 7th house, it's not just relating, it's not just I'm projecting me, I'm trying to be my way, but he's trying to be his way by responding to other people appropriately or intelligently, by sharing ideas with whoever came into his life, by having interesting things to say that were of value to them, by seeing what they needed to value. So the Taurus is coming into effect, the Mercury. The Mercury is going into the 7th house, which is responding to others and into reacting to the others without somewhat practically and objectively, almost common sense, without taking it too personally, without it putting below the horizon. So he's able to communicate about relationships, even about deeper problems in relationships, to try and see how one can function better. So it's interesting, and much psychology is really based on trying to become harmonious, functional members of society, and that the society has that positive take. It was a different time than today, but the main theory is still there. It's certainly not the only option, but his Mercury in the 7th house, it's conjunct Uranus. It's not normal. It's excited. So his normal style, his plotting, determined Taurus is going to look eccentrically or uniquely at ideas. He's going to see things his own way. He's going to have a new take. He's going to have something exciting, something to say that's different. I know how to respond to. He's going to know how to say things that walk in and shock, are very insightful about other people. Great, would be a great astrologer. In the end, it was more of the psychotherapist. Still, he's working with people, communicating, and able to find not just fixed modes, able to find new ideas or new approaches to looking at this, to expressing this. So he could come up with very shocking ideas. Just the very idea of the Freudian slip comes again in this concept. You have a very determined mind looking for practical reasons, practical values, but then you're throwing different ideas with it, and suddenly something shocking or exciting comes up, and oh, there it is. So you can see there's a quickness added to the normal determinedness of the. So Mercury is still going to be practical Taurus, but it's going to have an eccentric quality to it, a need to find a new approach, a new way of looking at things, new answers for things, that the common ways of relating and getting counseling wasn't working properly. Here's a better way to do it. It would light him up. Once he saw his own way of doing things, there's no stopping him. He would go on it. And it's sextile the Neptune. It's trine the Mars. He gets spontaneous reinforcement from it, but the conjunction is the one stressful aspect that really stands out here. And there's no other afflictions. It's just quick-witted, independent thinking. He has his own way. He's so independent. He's going to follow his own ideas. This is the way it is. He's going to go on it, and no one's going to talk him out of it. So I think in the end, between Freud, Jung studying from and learning his processes of psychotherapy from Freud explaining it, but at the same time, as Jung started to get more into metaphysical concepts and abstract terms, to Freud, that was not practical. That was like counterproductive and going in a different way than the practical, clear insight that would come to walk right in and interpret and communicate and see clearly. Okay. See, these things get so interesting. If you can understand each planet individually, in a person's life, there's times when the other planets go around, when planets come around. There's times when these things get accentuated more than the others. And when you put these timings together, you can make up the actual history of someone. You can do your whole family tree like that. You can make up the history of someone, see when these things are really profoundly affecting in his life. This is where astrology comes alive. This is our next level. But right now, you're just wanting to get close enough that this is insightful. Okay, so then we get to the Venus. Now, his Venus rules all his Taurus stuff, but it's his Venus is in Aries. The Venus about being loved, appreciated, one's self-worth, one's sense of beauty, one's choices, what one likes. There's no bad aspects to Venus. It's in the sixth house. The Venus in Aries its detriment doesn't rule well. The rule Aries is ruled by Mars, which is over in Libra, which is ruled by Venus. There's a funny thing happening between Mars and Venus. Anyways, we'll get to the Mars side of it later. But the Venus is impatient about what it wants. It's kind of the flirt, or the hunt is better than the catch. It has this spontaneous flirt, quick impulsiveness, quick to spend, quick to get. I got to do something. I like something. I want it quickly. So the Venus is always impatient in this Aries. It's a little pushy to get what one wants. His nature is to be very stable and determined, to charm and get it. Well, he's going to want when he wants something. So this Venus is the Venus in the sixth house. The sixth house is how you respond. You've taken impressions, you've interacted with the others. That's the seventh house, the eighth house, ninth house, ninth, eighth, seventh. You react, it comes down, has to descend, and then it becomes personal for you. So out of all the relationships he has, and people are sharing exciting ideas and interesting, it's the people who reach him personally. When he's affected personally, as he becomes personal, takes something personal, he's going to feel personal about things, but he's going to feel it out of anger, out of passion, out of impulse, or he's going to feel he has to do something about it right away. That's the Aries influence on the Venus. There's a little bit of lapse. It's not the most, it's a Mars. Venus is in its detriment. It's not ruling. It's the opposite of the ruler. So it's difficult when you make your choices too fast. You can get caught in bad relationships, difficult things. You get caught spending money too much. You get caught going too fast. So you could say, I'm just using the example of Freud and Jung. When he was studying with him, eventually he went on this world tour with him to back him up. And he's feeling we're backed up, we're going on this tour, we've got to make it happen, we've got to go. And he got Jung to come with him. But the whole time Jung went with him, Jung was falling away from him, wanting to do his own thing. So he was going on the impulse of who liked him and who wanted him, and going on it was just part of his personal input. He get it. So when he got good support, it's easy for him to rise to the occasion. But you could say it's a little high maintenance because he needs to be appreciated, needs to be liked. If he's liked, he could do anything. He's pushing, he's going for it. He knows he likes, he knows what he wants. He's got his team of people who likes him. He'll express himself and he'll be appreciated. But he also will set up fights and wars. So those fights and battles with that Venus, he's not going to please everybody because he's going to be pushing a little bit too fast. Sometimes when you push too fast, you spoil it. Come on, let's go to bed, honey. Boom, boom, fast. Let's make it personal, but then it takes away the slowness or the steadiness or some of the sensitivity. So there is a bit of a struggle in attitude around, Venus is your sense of satisfaction as well as appreciation and self-worth. So being satisfied sexually, being satisfied financially, emotionally, liking your values. It's in his sixth house. It's an area that it's his discipleship house. It's the area where he has to work at. He has to work to find appreciation. He has to work at something he likes. And he has to be able to respond, it's like he has to get paid for what he does. He has to be appreciated for what he does. He needs that good feedback. As he gets the good feedback, so his working with other people, his ability to decide who's nice, who's not, who likes him, who doesn't like him, is going to be really brilliant. But when he gets someone he doesn't like, he's going to be very quick to respond. When there's something not the way he thinks it should be, and he starts to feel about it, he's going to start to feel instantly at odds or angry. How could you? No, not this. It's not this. It's not that. Can't do that. Can't do this. You have to. And that part is kind of, even though it's well aspected, no bad aspects to it, it's still in Aries, the attitude pushes things. It sets things up a little faster than they should be, a little more than they should be, like relying on his student a little bit before he really should have. But it happened. They went their own ways. That's it. But even though Jung went away from Freud still consistently went on and was consistently following and pushing his unique ideas of psychotherapy. Was really the founder of the psychotherapy. Freud was the founder of the psychotherapy. Okay, Jung was a student that came and went, was inspired by him, by his unique perspective. It did. But I find it very interesting that Freud's, Jung's synchronicity and Freud's Freudian slip of writing down ideas, just suddenly one comes up. The coincidence of that moment and the coincidence of the moment in the synchronicity of planets, of hexagrams, of things lining together, the synchronicity, they're not that far apart. They're both takes on a sort of almost invisible quality. Okay, but the Venus sextile to the Saturn means it's fairly steady around money. It's not like, I don't think he would have been too much in want. He would see what's valuable. The Saturn would work in the 8th house. He'd see what's responsible. He'd know how to respond. It's all about his response. But Venus, when he wanted something too much, he could want something and he'd be pushing for it a little too assertively. And he pushes it, he can make it happen, but he's not necessarily going to be satisfied if he pushes too hard. But if he doesn't push so hard, it's not going to be happening. So he wouldn't be satisfied. So it's kind of like that. And his Mars, we're going to get to in a minute, is over in Libra. He'd be pushing, but it wants to be appreciated. So there's a really nerve in his life that's affected by this. And this Venus, this Aries Venus, is flirty, impulsive Venus. It rules his Taurus Sun, his Mercury, his planets in Taurus, which is the main primary. So what he wants is really going to color what he's thinking, how he's satisfied or not satisfied, how he was let down or not let down. His impulsive, I did this, I did that, I tried this, it didn't work. His sense of being loved or not being loved personally. It really is going to significantly affect the way he thinks. And he could see easily how other people are affected differently by that in the same process.